Why do stories stay with us long after they end? Is it the setting? Is it the conflict? It's the characters. Great stories stay with us because of the people within them. Characters can teach us about human nature by reflecting parts of ourselves, but to do that, they must be relatable and embody the themes of the story. It doesn't matter if they're anthropomorphic or live lives unlike our own. I don't live the life of Tony Soprano, but he feels relatable when the pressure from his line of work makes him symptomatic of depression. It keeps the story grounded and sincere. The first season of The Sopranos is a great example of a character study. But what exactly is a character study? It's where the author gives us a look into the psychology of a character and then tests them with trials and conflict to see if they grow or regress mentally. And to me, the stories that stand out the most are the character studies. They end up having the most emotive stories. Just think of Whiplash, American History X, Blue Period, Death Note, Breaking Bad. These stories delve deeper into the psychology of their protagonists. Since character studies focus on psychology, character motivation shouldn't be black and white. That ambiguity may be harder to write, but it's what makes them stand out. The catharsis comes from understanding these characters and then seeing them succeed or fail. And in particular for me, Re:Zero, without a doubt, has showcased the best way to do a character study.
I absolutely hate myself. I'll tell you what kind of man I really am. I have no strength, but I want it all. I have no knowledge, but all I do is dream. There's nothing I can do, but I struggle in vain like an idiot. I can't fail this time. I have to throw all my strength into my work and produce some kind of results, or...
Re:Zero is a web novel and light novel series written by Teppei Nagatsuki, later adapted into an anime and manga. It follows the story of Natsuki Subaru, a teenage boy who has little experience of the real world, where all he really does is play video games. Now, if he was transported to a new world, how would you expect him to behave? And what would his character be like? He's an overthinker, has issues with self-esteem, is naive, is attached to new people really easily, and he seems to have cognitive issues where he overestimates his competence and also incorrectly assumes that his acquaintances would risk their lives without any incentive or negotiations in place. Again, he has many flaws, yet he's the relatable character. The author explores themes like growth, perseverance, loneliness, autonomy, and doubt. Now, very slight spoilers for season 1 of the anime, so if you didn't want to get spoiled, then you have been warned. You find out that he has the power to return by death, so when he dies, he's able to respawn at a predetermined checkpoint. And although this could have been a route for the author to explore a power fantasy, instead the author uses it to explore how someone who believes they have no value at all could learn to grow.
That's right. I have no character.
Even when the attrition and stakes are at their highest, where he learns to make the right decisions to help those in danger, where he could have avoided Emilia or the village, but he chose to save them. Or even in Arc 3, where he learns to quell his ego, learns how to negotiate, where he's able to boost the morale of an army and strategize to defeat the witch cult, which were literal enemies that were roaming the world of Re:Zero for hundreds of years, but were taken down seemingly over 24 hours by a random individual that spawned into the world weeks earlier. Had he just had an off-screen training arc, or by chance unlocked a cheat ability without developing himself in all these facets, then it would have felt unearned and he wouldn't feel as relatable. Yet in the end, he won, because he changes. Having to die and sacrifice yourself to try to save those you love requires an intense amount of willpower and determination. To die some gruesome deaths, to face enemies birthed from hell, is a big leap in difficulty that he again fights through, even with all his flaws, even with how human he is. And throughout these arcs, even though he's surrounded by his friends, for the most part, it's always him putting on a face, a mask. He doesn't even value himself the way others may do. After failed loop after failed loop, he's gained these experiences, these memories that don't exist. Only he remembers. Good times long gone, and that can be very isolating. And then there are times when good acquaintances that you thought would have your back just don't. He already felt lonely because of his self-esteem, but to add on top of the failed loops, people being two-faced, and you just have loneliness taken too far. It made him excessively attached to Amelia. He felt like he had to be there for her at all times, to showcase his worth, his value, to help her out, even though it wasn't asked of him. And with a mindset like that, it culminated in his identity crisis. Most of us aren't fighting life or death situations, but the stakes are there. The pressure is there. We perhaps have exams rolling around, perhaps we're in uni, perhaps we're looking to start our dream careers, and throughout all of that, you're going to have times where the pressure is high, yet you need to stay determined. And at times you might feel pretty lonely, and some people with all that mental toll, they may end up redoing a year. They might give up on chasing their high-paying career. At least with ReZero, with its selectively curated themes and main character, is able to showcase how someone from zero is able to develop themselves to try and reach that end goal. And you can too.